What up, is Marcus? We have Waiver Wire Tuesday here. Now, I'm going to give you waiver wires of players that are likely available. I know there's a lot of leagues that have Joshua Palmer available, that have Gus Edwards available, that have even like a Cole Kmet available. I'm just going to assume that your league is pretty smart and that a lot of these players are going to be gone. So if you do have a question that is not one of these top 10 waiver wires, let me know and put it in the comment box. And let me know if you like the start or sits in the shorts version or video version. I did it in the shorts version last week, and I felt like more people actually viewed it in the short version because, I mean, again, it's 1 minute clips versus a 10-minute video. And so let me know if you like that better in the shorts version or the video version. I'm probably going to do the shorts version again this week just to see how it goes. Again, it makes it actually a little bit easier for me because then I can actually be other places besides my little man cave here. Number one, we're going to go with Jameson Williams. Now, Jameson Williams could be in the bench, but he's actually coming back from suspension a little earlier. So if you were somebody that was kind of waiting to pick him up around this time without any competition, you're going to have competition now because he is likely going to be back. We've seen kind of an influx of Khalif Raymond. We've seen an influx of Josh Reynolds, and I think Jameson Williams is easily more talented than those two wide receivers. So we're going to see exactly where Jameson Williams fits in this dynamic offense. And I can't believe I'm saying dynamic offense for Detroit. But he's the number one waiver wire priority pickup here today just because he, again, last season was it was big boom or bust. I mean, he had that one big play the first week he came back, but I mean, or else he was kind of distant. We'll see what happens with Jameson Williams here. He was high talented. I mean, we're talking a wide receiver more talented than like a George Pickens and stuff. So just know that he could be one of those players that comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden helps you win your league. Number two, Romeo Doubs. Again, Green Bay is going to be a very interesting. Is it going to be Jalen Reed weeks? Is it going to be Romeo Doubs weeks? Is it going to be Christian Watson? They have a lot of mouths to feed. Jordan Love has been a decent quarterback here to help supply some of these weapons. Even Luke Musgrave now hurt with that concussion last week. I think Romeo Doubs could be that Randall Cobb type role for fantasy football and the Green Bay Packers. So he's going to have some weeks that are going to help you fill in for these bye weeks. Is he anything amazing? Honestly, no. I mean, these pickups this week, it's rough. I mean, there was not a crazy ton of injuries, which is good for fantasy. I mean, I like that. I don't like injuries. But also, I mean, there was not a lot of, like, breakout performances. And again, I'm assuming, like, Devin Achane now. He's Devin Achane. Devin Achane, I'm assuming like all those players are gone. They should be gone. And in fact, a lot of them should have been drafted and kept. Number three, Michael Wilson, and you might go, who the heck is Michael Wilson? He's an Arizona wide receiver, and I think Michael Wilson is worth a flyer because Dobbs has been a satisfactory quarterback. He has been enough to keep the offense moving. He's been better than Daniel Jones, for crying out loud. So Michael Wilson, and if Kyler Murray does come back midway through the year, Michael Wilson could actually see maybe an uptick here because they have no DeAndre Hopkins, and really Marquise Brown has been injury prone. So Michael Wilson could be that wide receiver one on that team if something happens, or just a decent wide receiver two on Arizona for a team that actually is probably better than we thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be a dumpster fire, but that would be the Bears, and that would be Denver, and that would be the Giants right now. Number four, speaking of Denver, Jaleel McLaughlin and Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine likely not available. I think that Samaje would still be the lead back if for something to happen to Javonte Williams, if he were to miss a week or two. Jaleel McLaughlin would be a potential flex play. Samaje would be probably a little high. I mean, they're going to be splitting 60-40 here. This is a worry for Javonte. I own Javonte in a lot of leagues, and I just see them using him incorrectly. They're using all their stars incorrectly. Sutton and Judy and Javonte. Like, I'm very mad at Sean Payton right now. And he has not cursed me. He has been very mean to my Minnesota Vikings. Now he's just being mean to my Denver fantasy players. Sutton has been the only thing of relevance, but I don't understand why you don't give the ball to your best players, which is Javonte Williams. And honestly, they get in a big lead. and they still don't know how to keep it. Or they get down way much, and they did get down a ton, and they somehow beat the Bears, but they don't use Jerry Jeudy. It just doesn't make sense to me. So Julian McLaughlin and Samaje Perine, 2 players, my top running back pickups, likely, because the Jalen Warrens and all that are likely going to be gone. So we can't use those. Number 5, CJ Stroud. Number 6, Brock Purdy. We're going to kind of lump them together. Brock Purdy plays Dallas, so that is going to be a concern. This is kind of a 2-week lookout, because you're not going to have CMC get 4 touchdowns every week. And, well, maybe he is going to be the next LaDainian Tomlinson. If it's going to be somebody, it's probably going to be CMC, unfortunately. But CJ Stroud and Brock Purdy have been really good. And CJ Stroud has been great this year. I mean, we're talking record pace. So he is definitely somebody to pick up, somebody to keep on your bench if you have a spot, too. I mean, if he keeps this historic run, he could easily be quarterback 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. And a serviceable quarterback, and you're going to have boom weeks when he plays against the Tennessees of the world, when he plays against poor pass defenses, against Pittsburgh, and he still did really well. Nico has shown out. Tank Dell, not worried about him. He's done really well there as well. So number 7, Chuba Hubbard. So CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy. Number 7, Chuba Hubbard. The only thing why I have him here is he's another handcuff to have, and Miles Sanders just didn't look good. The only problem is Carolina's offense is horrible. This is kind of an iffy, like, you're running out of running backs. And so the only thing that I could see is Chuba Hubbard ends up taking more of that role, and Miles Sanders goes less of that role. But the money is in Miles Sanders, into the Miles Sanders category. So, but honestly, when I was watching the game, it looked more of like a 60-40 split. Running backs they're hard. I mean, if you want a running back at this point, when you have some of these injuries, you might be looking down the barrel of having Kenneth Walker and all of a sudden him on a bye, and you're like, well, who in the world do I even get points from? And Chuba Hubbard could be that guy for a little bit. Number 8, kind of the same thing, Roschon Johnson. I think he is more likely to get the role on a, I guess, worse team. I can't believe I'm saying worse than Carolina, but Roschon Johnson, Khalil Herbert, I think if you're going to look at anybody taking over that role, I think Roschon has a better idea of it, but for long, I think it's going to take him a little bit. Maybe I should flip these around, honestly. Roschon and Chuba Hubbard, probably. I think I'd rather have Roschon than Chuba Hubbard. So Roschon 7, Chuba 8. I take it back. So we're going to switch it. We're going to do a little flip-flop. Number 9, Jake Ferguson. Again, tight ends are... Number 10 is going to be Logan Thomas here. Tight ends are coming down. They're really getting thin. I mean, I had Darren Waller. I needed 5 points. Lost the matchup. Thank you, Darren Waller. You suck. No, he doesn't suck. It's just Daniel Jones sucks. Just the frustration of the fields. I mean, frustration of the field. And this is why I said you have to get a top 4 tight end. And or top 5 tight end, actually. I think I had 5. It was Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson. Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson. But is that it? Waller and Kittle were kind of on the edge, and that was all I had. And again, Kittle and Waller have been on the edge, and now they have shifted over into that group. And I have Hawkinson and Andrews in a ton of redraft. I have a lot of them in Dynasty as well. Even in the Dynasty Dads league, I have Hawkinson. And it's not because he's a Viking. It's because I thought there was 3 great tight ends, 2 meh tight ends that I thought could kind of go either way. They have shifted towards the mass grouping here. And then you have the rest. And honestly, if you have tight end 4 to 14, it doesn't really matter. And that's why I told you, it's one of my biggest tips. And if you listen to anything in the videos, I think this was one of the biggest things. The shorter the league or the bigger the league. So like if you had a 14, or it's not 14, an 8-team league, tight ends have to go up. Like I had a guy message me and said, I'm so bad at my league. I have pick one. What do you do? And I said, go Travis Kelce. And he was like, what? Over Justin Jefferson? Everybody was like, yeah, you're an 8-man league. You have, and I mean, I like 12-man leagues personally. I like sometimes 16, which I've even advised 16. I'm like, if you have a 16 team league, like go with the position scarcity, go for that tight end. And then it was actually one where they start 2 tight ends, which I don't know why that type. I mean, whether you're an 8-man league, you sometimes just have to do something crazy. And he was at 250 or 208, which would be 15th pick or whatever. And I was like, take Mark Andrews. Take the best 2 tight ends. You will get plenty quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and honestly, he's like, I'm 4-0. He's like, I'm doing great. He's like, my tight ends score, gosh, on a bad week, they score 30 points, 15 or 20 points, and like opponents are scoring 6. And I'm like, yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. You are destroying the position there. And that's why I said the top 3 tight ends so important. The rest kind of, they're going to stay meh. All right, this is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. We're doing redraft right now. Waiver wires. Good luck. Let me know what your questions are. Peace out. Take care.